What's good? It is Monday, March 29, 2021. This is the Early Edge, powered as always by SportsLine. I am the coach, and we are coming off another fantastic weekend here at the show. 6-2 in the Sweet 16, 3-1 on Saturday, 3-1 on Sunday. And our guy, Mikey M Squared, he was perfect on Sunday. He told you Michigan would dominate. They did. He told you USC would dominate. They did. So we've got a winner, year-long subscription to SportsLine, and that is Cappy Ball. Cappybahl. You win. You had Gonzaga as your best bet. We were perfect with Mikey. You're a winner today, and the jeweler will reach out to you on Twitter and let you know how you can cash that in. But if you want to play in our Perfect Parlay contest, all you got to do is go to our YouTube page in the comments section every single day. Leave your best bet for the day. It could be anything. If you hit one of our cappers is perfect, then you are eligible for a year-long subscription to SportsLine. All right, let's jump right in now as we bring in our cappers. You know the names, you know the faces. M Squared, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, Coach. Good morning. Got a lot of college basketball today. We got NASCAR that was postponed from yesterday. It's going to be a fun little Monday.
And I know Zack Attack, you just see the look on his face today, and I feel like we're going to stay in the Pac-12 somehow. Good morning, Zack.
Good morning, Coach. It was a tough one to lose that Alabama future yesterday, but UCLA was the better team. Nate Oates just got out-coached down the stretch there.
He really did. He really did. It went to overtime, and UCLA was the better team in overtime. All right, now that as the dust, guys, has kind of settled with the NBA trade deadline, I want to go in and look at some of the prices and how they've changed or how they have not changed. And when you look at NBA futures, and that's a big deal. A lot of people love betting futures. The Nets are the favorite to win the title now at plus 260 at William Hill. The Lakers right behind at plus 280. The Clippers right there at plus 550. M Squared, I want to start with you. When you look at all the numbers, we have them up. If you're watching on YouTube right now, the jeweler has them up on the screen. What are you looking like? What are you make of these prices now? And is there one on the board that you like in particular?
So when I look at them, the first thing I notice, obviously, the Brooklyn Nets have moved into that number one spot there, being the favorite. I think obviously that's due to the fact that they have stuck the team together. They've played relatively well at times with one or more of the big three being injured at a time. And then they've added the two pieces with Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge. Meanwhile, the Lakers, all you've seen from the Lakers is games where they haven't played with LeBron or AD or both of them, right? So it's kind of what you've seen lately there. That's why those numbers are flipped, in my opinion, at this point. But really what I'm looking at, there's a couple numbers here that are fair value, but my favorite play on the board is actually going to be in a division winner. That's going to be the Northwest. I'm looking at the Portland Trailblazers. You can get them all the way up to 80-1 in certain spots around the marketplace. I like them here. I know they're 6.5 games back of the Utah Jazz right now. The Jazz have one of the more easy remaining strength of schedules. However, Mike Conley's been injured a little bit lately. This Portland team is finally going to be healthy. They've added Norman Powell, who I absolutely love. But what I really love about them is they're no longer going to be forcing Robert Covington and Derek Jones Jr. into extended roles that they really aren't built to play in that Western Conference. Having Nurkic back, having Collins back at some point is going to be absolutely huge for them. I think there's a ton of value, as I think that if they win these two games against Detroit, maybe steal that head-to-head against the Jazz in this next week, they could be going from 6.5 games back to maybe only 3 or 4 by next week.
Yeah, we see it all the time. The teams that jump out to a quick, good record, they take their gas off the pedal just a little bit. Plus, I watched the Blazers last night against the Raptors, and they're looking really, really good. TJ McCollum, thank you, Chief. He is looking great now that he's healthy. So I like that play with that value. Speaking of a division, Zach, I know that you're looking at a team in a different division or maybe a conference winner that you like a lot.
Yeah, in the West, I think right now is a good time to jump in on the Denver Nuggets 10-1. Look at the NBA. We know it's usually chalk. Well, we want to talk about value here other than the Bucks, Nets, and Lakers. But the Denver Nuggets 10-1, we already know they can step up their play in the playoffs as we saw last year. They raised their level of play. They beat the Clippers. They beat the Jazz. They've had a good run over the Suns the past few years. And the Lakers are banged up right now. So now's a good time with the potential MVP candidate, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, dominant scorer. And they have that veteran presence that you like to see for the playoffs with Will Barton and off the bench with Paul Millsap. So I like their mix. And let's not forget, they added a splash player in the trade deadline with Aaron Gordon, which is not getting talked about enough. So the Denver Nuggets 10-1, good value. I think their odds will be condensed immensely by the time the playoffs come.
They looked absolutely amazing last night in their blowout win. And I think we all just assume, guys, that LeBron's going to be back healthy, that AD's going to be back healthy. We don't know that for sure. And if they continue to fall and continue to play average to below average basketball, this number is horrible. I would stay away from it and wouldn't touch it if I was anybody on betting the Lakers to win it all at such a small price when your two superstars are still out. Okay, let's jump into our board for the day, and our SportsLine play of the day is where we're going to start. We're going to go to the NHL. We have kind of a toss-up. 7 Eastern, they're going to drop the puck between the Penguins and the Islanders, and we're rolling with Pittsburgh. Why? Because our Sims at SportsLine say it's going to cash 58% of the time. But also, the Isles are 1-5 in the last 5 against Pittsburgh. This is not a good matchup for them. They don't like playing Pittsburgh, and we're going to roll it. Only laying 10 cents. We're on it all day long. Okay. M Squared, you know the drill. Give it to me.
All right, Coach, we're going to head to the Elite Eight, and we're looking at the Baylor Bears, Arkansas Razorbacks. Chief is confused. He already barked and gave the dog of the day with that future play here. But I love the Baylor Bears, -7.5. I make this all the way up to -9.3 in my simulations. So I like the way that these two teams match up. Arkansas plays with one of the quickest paces in the entire country, probably the quickest pace here out of all the teams remaining. Meanwhile, Baylor is going to play a controlled tempo game. But what I love about Baylor is they can play quick if they need to or want to. And this Arkansas team, they are not good enough offensively. We've seen that the last few games. They barely snuck by, and they've relied heavily on turning up that defensive pressure at times. What you need to handle that strong defensive pressure in the college game is strong guard play. That's why Baylor is so good. They have the best backcourt in the country. I like them in this spot. Again, -9.3 is my number. Get it in before it goes to 8 if you can. It will most definitely be closing at -8, potentially even 8.5, as this is the last game of the night. We're going to see some late public action come in here towards the end. So get the Baylor Bears in as quickly as you can. Next game, NBA, going back to the Indiana Pacers. They were kind to us the other night when Lucas sat. I like him here in this spot, and it's a relatively similar spot. They're playing up in pace against the Washington Wizards. The Wizards are still going to be without Davis Bertans. They traded away some of their bench depth at the trade deadline, and now Bradley Beal is questionable to play in this game. I make this number -5.9 with Bradley Beal in. That balloons up to just over 8 points when Bradley Beal sits, if he does. That's something to watch this afternoon, but give me the Pacers, -4.5.
Yeah, Mikey, a lot of people haven't realized, too, if you watch every single game, they have made a conscious effort to increase their pace of play as well. And I think it's really been a positive, and from the coaching staff, a smart move to get them out and running. And you play against the Wizards like this, and this could really be turned into a blowout by the third or fourth quarter, the way that Indiana is playing. All right, Zach, you're on the other Elite Eight game today. What do you got?
I'm going to take the dog in this one, Coach, and go Oregon State +7.5. Look, I know Houston, they have a dominant defense. It was fantastic against Syracuse. But Syracuse, they self-destructed more so than anything else from what I saw in that game. The game plan was to shut down Buddy Boeheim, and that's exactly what they did. But Oregon State, they are a more diverse, balanced team offensively. It's going to be hard to limit them. In Houston, they're prone to those droughts. I think Oregon State can do something they did similar against Loyola Chicago, get a little bit of a lead and make Houston slow it down in the half court and play their game. They also have the upperclassmen to match Houston. They have 3 seniors and 1 junior. And the junior I want to mention here real quick, Worth Alatiche. He's actually from Houston, did not get recruited by any other school but Nicholls State. He had to play there for 2 years before he transferred to Oregon State. So that could be a little bit of motivation, not just for himself, but for the Oregon State Beavers. And then NBA player prop, Tyrese Haliburton, over 13.5 points. Haliburton has been playing great since he entered the starting lineup the last 5 or 6 games. He scored in double figures 6 of the last 7. And I like the way he's shooting from 3-point range, 13 of 21 in his last 4 games. And with the way that De'Aaron Fox is playing right now, he's making it easier for every other starter on the floor. Take Haliburton to go over 13.5 points today against the San Antonio Spurs.
My goodness, De'Aaron Fox is playing amazing basketball. I love watching that kid play for the Sacramento Kings. All right, we are up against it. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here we go. Thank you, Julia. Here is our recap. M Squared, he's on Baylor, -7.5 tonight against Arkansas. That's a late tip, doubleheader, both games on CBS. Pacers, -4.5. That's a graded A play from SportsLine over the Wizards. Then 2 plays from Sunday. that didn't get played, but we're going to play them today in NASCAR. Bell over Larson, Marlar over Kurt Busch. Your eyes are not deceiving you. This is a dirt track. They're racing on dirt today, and these are dirt track specialists. All right, Zack Attack. He likes Oregon State. Getting 7.5. Taking on Houston tonight. That's the first game of the doubleheader, 7:15 Eastern time. And then also Haliburton over 13.5 points in that Kings and Spurs game. And then in our SportsLine play of the day from the NHL, the Penguins -110 over the Islanders. Real quick, if you want to play our early edge parlay of the day, we're putting our 2 NCAA games together. $10 returns you $26, or for $100 better, you bring back $264 if you parlay up Baylor and Oregon State together. All right, you've got your marching orders. I love the start of a new week. Don't forget, also coming up this week, we're going to be doing an MLB Futures special. So turn on those notifications. So anytime we drop new content into your feed, you know exactly when it happens. Let's take all these tickets straight to the pay window. For M Squared, for our Chiefs dog of the day, for Zack Attack, for the Jeweler, I'm the coach. Let's have a great week. Let's get it started right. It's the only place for your daily early edge. Good luck.